your host of the Hudson Valley Knits Podcast, and I am Memers on Ravelry and Memers66 on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for joining me. Today is Sunday, December 4th, I think it is the 4th. And I am podcasting, I'm checking the date. I am podcasting from my living room today. It's December 4th. It was a little too cold to podcast outside. It was a nice day, but like I said, a little too cold, and I had appointments and stuff. I had to get some work done in the car this morning, and then I went to meet some knitter ladies for a couple hours of knitting. And then I met my husband down by the river, and we went for a walk, which was really nice. And then I had to go to Home Depot and return stuff, and you know the deal. And then it was just too dark to podcast outside. All good intentions, but it just didn't happen. I have a lot to show you, so let's get right to it. Whips. So let's see, what do I have to show you first? My Torquata wrap, which is a pattern by Ambah O'Brien, right here, and my Jan Smiley bag with the little frog, musician frogs. I love this bag so much. I like the size too. It's perfect for the project I'm working on now. And I look at the green zipper. So frogs, and I have an affinity for frogs because I was famous for a frog joke when I was a kid. A totally corny joke called the wide mouth frog that as a child I thought was hilarious, and people would ask me to tell them the joke just to get a laugh at how corny it was. So that's why I like frogs. So this is the Torquata shawl by Ambah O'Brien, using Miss Babs' Yummy 2-ply in her gradient called Eucalyptus and a solid color called Cocoa. It's all Yummy 2-ply. The gradient I got like 2 or 3 years ago at Rhinebeck, and the Cocoa I got just this past Rhinebeck. I actually went there looking for a nice compliment, and she suggested this, and I really liked that. I liked I wanted something earthy, but it didn't really have to be light in color. I wanted it to pop as well. So let me show you what the colors are. The gradient set, yes, is Eucalyptus. It's her 6 skein set of gradients. Alright, so color number 1, this is 3. Color number 1 is called Canopy. So each one has the label. Let me show you Canopy. It's a blue, but it's got kind of like a gray blue tone to it. That's Canopy. Next is Shade is the name of the next color, and Shade is more of a sky blue. So this is Shade. And then the third color is Leaves, and that's the color I'm working on now, and that's more like almost like a sage green, or a very light moss green. Well, not moss green. Just like a sage green, very light in color. Those are the first 3 colors. Here it is in the skein. Right? So the next color after this is 4, which is called Bark. It's like a taupe. Definitely a taupe. 5 is called Fruit. It's, what do they call fruit? Kind of like a beige, but with a purpley tone to it. I don't know what you would call this color. Well, maybe fruit, right? And the last color is a color that I am totally in love with called Flowers. I love this color pink. This is my favorite shade of pink. Not quite so bright, but it captures the color well there. So those are the colors. I have some comments about the pattern. So it's a pattern designed for, let me show you the finished one. It's very popular, so chances are you've heard of it. It's designed for a Miss Babs gradient set, 6-color gradient set, and 1 skein of her yarn. There's a good picture of the whole shawl. So I did do a gauge swatch, and I had some problems. I either was going to get row gauge and not stitch gauge, or I was going to get stitch gauge and not row gauge. So I went with the gauge, the fabric that I liked better. So I am doing it with a needles a size bigger than the pattern calls for. I am using my US 5 Haya Sharps. And it's a little bit of a looser drapier fabric, I think, but I liked the way it felt and looked. The problem is I should have had the pattern, if I had gotten gauge, would have enabled me to do, like, you see the diamonds, the triangle stitch repeats there. I should have been able to do 5 full ones. But if you see, I only have 4 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just the first couple of lace rows of the 5th. So I don't have enough yarn. Something for you to consider. It's for many patterns, it's really hard to get both row and stitch gauge exactly. And because of that, with this, because she must have had just enough of the gradient yarns to do that, 1 repeat. You have to consider that. So what you do, because there are no increases in the total stitch count, I'm just doing 1 less repeat. I decided to do the first couple of rows of the next one to make the panel a little thicker, because I don't think it's that noticeable. And I want to use as much of the color as possible. So it's not something that I think would hinder me from knitting this pattern, but it is something to keep in mind that you might not have enough to do all 5 repeats of the lace section. And also in the garter section, because I knew my gauge is off and I saw how it affected the lace part, I did 2 less rows of this lace part, and that is the cocoa colorway, which I'll show you here. It's a very dark coffee bean brown, and I really love it. It's quite easy to memorize, very easy for me. I don't need to look at the pattern now. And I love, it's addicting because you want to get all the colors, you want to get to the next color and see how it's going to all look. I really enjoy the pattern, and I highly recommend it with any gradient set you have, but I like the Miss Babs gradient sets. I love her colors, and I really particularly love this eucalyptus one. So drinking some peach tea, I hope you don't mind, in a cup I got from Rhinebeck. It's going to be really hot. It's delicious. Yeah, so that's 1 whip. Let me put these yarn labels back in there. I like to keep them in the bag while I'm knitting, just so I can remember what it is. So the next whip I have on the list, oh, the Glam. So I finished, and this I'll show you better in the finished object when I get to finish objects, but I finished a sweater I was working on, and my bargain with myself is that I will, for every new sweater I knit, I will, after I finish it, or any new project, right, any new cast on, afterwards I have to take a project out of my whips, my hibernation. So like this shawl, after I finish it, I'll take a shawl out of my hibernation and finish that. I figure it's a good way to get rid of all those projects that I haven't finished. And one of them, because I finished the sweater, was the Glam Lamb by Stephen West. I'm knitting this for my daughter Rachel. I don't have a picture of it, but I do have the schematic. I could probably pull a picture up off my computer. But here's the schematic. It's made with bulky weight yarn, and I am using Debbie Bliss yarn. I got this at Webb's a couple of years ago when I went there for my birthday. Debbie Bliss Roma in the cream colorway. And I have a marker where I was when I took it out of hibernation, so let me show you. This is going to be a warm, cuddly sweater for my daughter. And where is that marker? Sorry guys, I will show you. Alright, so here's what I've done on it so far. And let's see how many rows it is, but it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I've been knitting on it while I watch Westworld with my husband. So I sit at my desk and I watch Westworld and I knit on this. So it has the armholes on a provisional cast on, and then some of the stitches are on hold right here. And the way it works is you could flip it either way, but this will be like a collar when it's done. This is the back, and then you just pick up and knit the armholes. And I'm going to use some of my homespun, my hand spun stash. So this has to go so that it is 24 inches from the sleeve, and then I'll start the other sleeve hole, and then I'll do some shaping for the other collar side. Let me get my iPad and see if I can show you a picture. It's been a while since this pattern came out, so you might not remember it. And I think I mentioned it's for my daughter Rachel, who right now is in Florida, going to a motorcycle mechanic school, and so she doesn't need it right away, and that's part of the reason I put it in hibernation. Was I knew she'd be down there for a couple of years and not needing a warm sweater, but she's graduating in February, so I'd like to have this done and ready for her for when she comes home. She is definitely coming back to New York. She doesn't want to settle in Florida. She can't stand the heat, and she can't stand the weather, humidity. She likes the winters. So here is one of the pictures, and it's basically one of the pictures that made her fall in love with it, because it is very glam and bulky and cuddly. So that is my latest sweater on the needles. I think I'm going to continuously have sweaters on the needles this year. I love, one of the things I love about this is all the edges are I-cord edges, and I love how that looks. It's really beautiful. And yeah, it's mindless. It's definitely potato chippy. You don't need to see it. It's too big to bring to the movies now, but it's definitely sit in front of the TV and knit project. So that is in quite larger project bag. This is in my knitting camp bag. I got this from Schoolhouse Press, and it has Elizabeth Zimmerman quote, knit on through with confidence and hope through all crises, Elizabeth. I like it. It's special. So that's in here, because knitting is soothing to my soul and gives me a sense of peace. Aside from the just enjoyment of the process, it just find it very grounding. And really, And it's, besides enjoying creating beautiful things, it's just grounding. I don't know how to describe it. So that is the sweater. Let's see what I started a lace shawl. There's a lot of new stuff on the needles. So I've actually kind of cheated from the rule I just told you about. And I started 2 new shawls. But I swear I'm going to do a hibernated one soon. This one I felt I had to do. It's Out of Darkness by Boo Knits. This I have plans to wear to an engagement party that should be happening sometime in, shoot, hold on. I got stuck here. An engagement party that should be happening sometime in January of this year for a dear friend who's going to get married in January of 2018. And I just felt this would be appropriate for her wedding theme. It's Out of Darkness by Boo Knits. I did not mark where I was last time I showed this. I know I didn't have much done, and what I did have done was just plain stockinette stitch, but I have started the lace portion, and you can see all the beautiful beads, and you can see the beginning of the lace. Let me get a little closer. This is made with Lost City silk in the On a Winter's Day colorway by Lost City Knits. I am not overly fond of knitting with lace yarn, and this shawl has not changed my mind on that. However, I find it okay enough, and I want this shawl bad enough that I'm willing to do it. And I love this yarn. It smells beautiful enough to do it. So that is what I'm doing. The pattern is unique in that you start with one needle here, needle size. Then when you start this lace pattern, you go to the next needle size up, and then the border will be knit in a needle size one up from that. So she definitely kind of loosens up the gauge. Let me find a picture to show you because I don't have one printed. But first let me show you the label. It's Lost City Knits, one of my favorite yarn dyers. And it's Lost City Silk on a Winter's Day. It's 1,000 yards, I believe. Yep, 1,000 yards. Let me show you a picture of this finish so you get an idea of what I'm looking for. Getting back to the wedding, her theme will be very Art Deco slash 20s kind of flapper style, which I immediately came to mind was like beaded shawls and things like that. So I went looking for a shawl. I asked her if she wanted one. She said no, she had already ordered like a faux fur coat since it's a winter wedding. And that's fine, but I figure I can wear one myself. So let me pull that up. Show you a picture of it finished. One of the finished. This is gorgeous. Here it is without beads. Mine's going to be with beads. Isn't that beautiful? I love the edges. I love the teardrop bottom. I just think it's perfect. So I'm not doing any extra repeats. You can do extra repeats with this pattern if you want to make the shawl a little bigger. I have plenty of beads and I have enough yardage, but I decided not to. I like the size, the standard size that the pattern's written for. So I opted to keep the regular size. So that is my other shawl. I'll see if I have a lightweight progress keeper I can use. Maybe one of my hingeless safety pins. I just don't want to damage the silk. And I'll show you my little bowl. I got this bowl at Vogue Knitting Live one year from and I got a yarn bowl from them too. but I use this to keep my beads in. I just throw just a handful, is all I have in there. And then, I fill it up as I need to. And then on my desk, in my knitting area, I have the rest in a jar. So this is more than enough. They are triangular Miyuki beads, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if I can find just one. I have an idea. Let me show you this way. Let me get the crochet hook. Let's see if I can show you it like that. See it? It's not very focused. There you go. It's a little better. I love it. It's clear, but it's lined, and it has like a slight blue color to it. So I really love it. Beautiful beads. And this is in a wintry, I feel, wintry pet squirrel bag. Next on the whip list is the Smithy socks. You've seen this. It's in the Rock and Sock Club bag. And I did finally get past the heel, and now I'm knitting up. I am going to start the cuff soon. I have to stop these early because I used a lot of yarn for the foot. And yes, he does have a big ankle, so this is... I've redone this so many times because it didn't fit right. So here it is, correct. Still haven't started the second one, but definitely almost done with the first. And it's quite not normal for me to take so long to finish a pair of socks, but I think it's because they're toe up, and I'm going to actually... Can I do it with this pattern? Knit the next one top down. I just don't like knitting toe up. Just don't like it. I don't know. I have to make sure the pattern will look the same both ways. I don't think it will. I might have to knit the next one toe up, but at least I have the size and I know exactly where to turn the heel. So that's my sock pattern. And that is it for works in progress. I do have finished objects. I'll start with the smaller one. So this, I did and I don't think I think I had just had this cast on in the last podcast. I'm not sure. I might have had some done. I can't remember. I know I must have. It was only 2 weeks ago. This is the Wooley Wormhead Mystery Hat, Mystery Knit Along. She does one every year around this time of year. And I did the beanie one. I wanted it not too tight and nice and deep. And I used Brigantia by Spirit Trail Fiberworks in 2013 Club colorway, which I absolutely love. And I think she should dye more of this. The pattern is now called the Armley Beanie, and that's A-R-M-L-E-Y. So let me get it up close. Can you see the cable section right there? And I just love this. I love this yarn. I love this dye job. It's really that beautiful. Oh my gosh. So I love this hat. It's plenty warm. You know what I don't love? I'll be honest with you. So you may have noticed, or you may have remembered that I had long hair once, and I had long hair my whole life up until recently. And what I do like about the long hair is I can blow it out straight easier. You can see it looks nice and smooth. Whereas when my hair was long, my hair gets really dry at the ends and splitty. It used to be really curly, but then, I don't know, I had lost a lot of the curl. And I had too many bad hair days. And to blow it out straight when it's long is a long and it's a tedious process. So I think I like this length, but I don't like it with a hat on. It looks like I have no hair, right? What do you girls do when you have short hair? Do you like just not care? Do you wear it further up? You gotta cover your ears, right? I don't know. But needless to say, I love this hat. It's gorgeous, and I love this yarn, and I wish I had more. Wish I had a sweater's worth. Oh well, so that's one. The second I am wearing, but you can't really see it because I'm sitting down, but this is the Ready for Fall sweater. And what I'll do is I will take a little video of me standing up after I'm finished with this, just so you can see it. I think I had it almost done the last podcast, and I had tried it on feeling like it was too tight. Well, I blocked it out and it fits perfectly now, and I'm so like 100% loving it. So this is the Ready for Fall pattern by Isabell Kraemer. I've seen her patterns like escalating in popularity as far as the hot right now. This was I had this pattern in my queue for a while, but it had recently come up, and it kind of reminded me that I wanted to knit it. It's top down, it's knit top down, and with a DK yarn. So I had this yarn from like 2 Rhinebecks ago, maybe 3, and I had just bought another sweater's worth from her, so I figured I really have to use this before I can use the Birte yarn that I bought in that cherry colorway. It's gorgeous. Right around Rhinebeck time. So that's what I did. I knit this up, and this will be a Rhinebeck sweater for this coming year, 2017, in case it's a warmer day. This is a perfect sweater. And then I'll have the cherry one. Oh, it matches my nail polish. I didn't even plan that. Huh. And I'll have the cherry one. I bet you that was subconscious. I'll have the cherry one in case it needs I need a warmer sweater. And who knows? I might knit even another sweater this year, because I'm really digging sweaters. And I actually have one made with Alice Starmore's Bannon yarn, the same yarn I used for Marc's Rhinebeck sweater a few years ago. I have one half made. I could finish that. So now I do have a teeny tiny FOs to show you, and they're all going to be gifts for the senior love along. A couple of them still need to be blocked, so you'll just have to use your imagination, but they will be ready for the love along. This one I still need to attach a, oops, sorry, my husband's cooking. Anyway, this one I still have to attach a string to, but I knit a little snowman. And he's got a pink scarf. I got this from a little kit at Vogue Knitting Live. She's a regular there at Vogue Knitting Live, so I snapped these up from her. Hold on, let me get this out. And it came with a pattern and more than enough yarn and stuffing for 2 snowmen. One I gave to my daughter when she went to Florida, so she could have snow with her all the time. And I still have plenty of stuffing left and quite a bit of yarn left for another snowman, except the white. I have white in my stash, fingering weight. I loved it. It just took a few hours, and it's so adorable. And it will cheer up the seniors. So this is one of the gifts for the senior love along. And then I have a couple of that's funny, snowflakes. One I made last year, and this one I made this year. I still have tons of beads too. Look at all the beads I have. So this is, these are both Laura Nelkin patterns. This is the Star of Butane kit that I got from her last year. It has to be blocked out. It's gorgeous. Love it. Okay, like this. And I have a little hook for it. And then this one is also from a Laura Noken kit. And I have plenty of beads to make another one, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to want to stretch out nice. But this will be a snowflake, and it definitely needs blocking and stiffening. And I forget the name of this pattern. And honestly, I bought the kit and I can't find the actual printed pattern that it came with. So until I find it, I can't make more. Although I have enough beads for another one. So those will be for the seniors as well this year. And this one I haven't started yet, but I have a kit for these. I bought this last year when she had a sale. She had another sale this year, but I didn't buy anything. I have so many kits from her, I still need to knit up, so I decided not to buy any new ones. So, with that being said, I have a giveaway to perform right now. I had 2 books up for grabs on in my Ravelry group. The first book, Antarja Knits by Ambah. Got this, she gifted me this to give away on the blog when I went to the knitting retreat in Stowe, Vermont. And she taught Antarja there, and it's excellent. You will be able to knit Antarja in the round after this. So I did a random number generator before the show, and it picked number 7, who is Mountain Pearl, otherwise known as Kathy. Congratulations. She will probably know by the time this is uploaded, because I don't like wait for people to watch the show. I just send a message saying you won so they know. So Kathy, this book is for you, and I hope you enjoy it thoroughly. I also have this amazing book, Lithuanian Knitting by Donna Drakunis and June Hall. This is an amazing book with lots of accessory patterns in it and lots of history. It's not just a book of patterns, it's actually like a historical knitting book. And this is my favorite Donna Drakunis book. I just love, love, love it. And I know this will be enjoyed. This I drew the number 11 for, who is Will Knit for Donuts. You may know her as Mrs. Shoe. I think that's still her Instagram name, but it's Mary. And I'm so excited you won this, Mary. This is awesome. So I will PM both of you ladies, and you can give me your address, and I will send these out as soon as I can get to the post office. And happy holidays, right? So that's the giveaway, except for one more thing. So for the senior love along, I just want to say it's next weekend. I'm podcasting on Sunday, so it's this following Saturday, which is the 17th. Oh no, it's 2 weeks from now? Today's the 5th, and it's on the 17th. That's, so sorry. Wait a minute. Am I like losing my mind? Anyway, you need to get me your senior love alone products. I've gotten a lot already, but still waiting for a lot, hoping to get a lot more. I have to say, this year, not many people put finished objects in the price thread. I used to have like pages and pages, but I guess, I don't know if it's dwindling or not, but yeah, so it's 2 weeks from now. So I would say if you have to really try and get them mailed out by December 14th, 13th, let's say Tuesday before, would be like the latest. Now, if you do send them and I don't get them in time, don't fret. I'll save. I have a whole bag that I saved for this year from last year, because I either got them a little late, or I just got so much stuff last year that I didn't have I had too much to give away. And rather than just give out 2 or 3, I decided to keep some for this year, and I'm glad I did, because honestly, it's dwindling, the amount of stuff I'm getting in. So it's good I have some backup stock of washcloths. But I got some lovely ornaments, and I got some wheelchair bags, and I got tons of washcloths. So I'm really excited for this year's holiday party. I am also doing the 2016 goals contest. I keep calling it a contest, but it's not really a contest. It's just an encouragement to achieve your knitting goals for the year. I personally have not done very good, but all the prizes are up in that thread as well, but I won't draw for that until after the new year, like a week or 2 after the new year, whenever my first podcast is of the new year. So you have time. But I just wanted to, I showed all the prizes, I think last podcast. And I forgot to mention this prize from, it's a Jan Smiley Poke Me Knot set. It has not just the Poke Me Knot, which is great to have. It's got the Lose Me Knot, a big one and a small one, which includes some a fixing crochet hook for drop stitches and a couple of tapestry needles. So it's a great kit that she gave to me to give away on the podcast, and I've been saving it for the goals contest. So that is also a prize, and I will add that to the prize list. I also might offload some of my project bags that I don't use as prizes for that as well, because that I have a lot of entries for, which is exciting. And I may or may not do that again next year. Let me know what you think, because there's just, it gets complicated. I don't know. It's just really hard to kind of get all the rules when you're knitting a goals. Unless it's like for one specific object, it's hard. So this year it was an entry for every goal you finish, and a goal could mean I want to knit 3 sweaters this year, so that's one entry, your 3 sweaters. Or 6 pairs of socks, but is one entry. So anyway, that I might not do again, just because it's so complicated, and because I'm out of prizes. I had a stock up of prizes, but I'm kind of out of prizes too, so that I'm not sure about. But this year it's going to be good. And that, my friends, is about it, except for one more thing. The first thing is, I forgot to tell you about this, didn't I? This is made with all Spirit Trail Fiberworks yarn that is actually discontinued, but this is a Rosemary Hill shawl, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name, but I put this on because my neck was cold. It was a little drafty in the house, but this is my favorite shawl. And she doesn't make these yarns anymore, but I have a whole skein of this one left, which is Silk and Merino 50-50, I believe. And this is almost all silk, and actually I have some of this left. But I wanted to mention something really quick. Where did my notepad go? I wanted to mention a podcast, a new podcast. They have 5 entries. Now, I don't do this often. I don't talk about other podcasts. But you all know that, like, especially if you follow on YouTube, that there's boatloads of name podcasts coming out, and some of them are great. And it's hard for me to pick up new ones because how many podcasts can you watch? But this one I found because it's one of the podcasters, it's two young ladies, is someone that I've been following on Instagram for quite some time. And her Instagram account was a lot more than just knitting. These girls are from New Zealand, and I followed this woman, this young lady, because she was a knitter at first, but then I kept following her because she's so inspiring. So, but you'll see for yourself if you check out the podcast. there is a Ravelry group, Fiberworks Podcast. Fiberworks Podcast. I hope you can read that. And the two women that do it are Hopi Dunks on Ravelry and Burnt Violet on Ravelry. The YouTube account, and you'll probably see this on a banner, is Nina Duke Howard. So the YouTube account is not necessarily Fiberworks Podcast. And by the way, they spell fiber Fibre, and not the American way with the ER, and morphics, like morphing. These girls are so talented, and they're so delightful, and they're just really uplifting. So they spin. There's a lot of spinning. There's a lot of knitting. They dye their own yarn. They over dye their own yarn. They have, they include a lot of outdoor activities and farm activities with sheep and seals. And they're like right near the coast of New Zealand. It's just an amazing podcast. I really believe that you will like it if you give it a shot. And that's why I was really inspired to share that with you. So that is it. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in a couple of weeks. It will probably be the day after that I podcast again, will be the day after the senior love along. So I have a lot to share with you about our seniors and how well it does and how well the party goes. So cheers. I will see you in a couple of weeks.